For next year, last one.
So that's four.
Join us for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting is called to order at 5:30. All are present. The board did meet in executive session and discuss the personnel accordance with Indiana Code at 5 p.m. It is recommended that the minutes, regular public meeting of November 18th, 2025 be approved with additions, corrections, or deletions as recommended by the board. Motion by Christie, second by Todd. All in favor? 7-0.
We have our snowball team, and it's coached by Mrs. Garden. Unfortunately, with schedule changes, we have basketball games rescheduled, and so kids are kind of spread out. So we have Elsie Murphy, Journey White, Audrey Morris, Sadie Carlisle, McKenna Martin, Paisley Carnes, who's joined us, and then Cortland Hall and Bradley Barton. And these kiddos, I will tell you, for a club or something to do after school, they have to be dedicated to practice spelling words. They had 700 words that they were trying to memorize and spell. So it's not just they had to really put in the time and effort to memorize. And some of the words, when we went to the competition in Scottsburg, I was like, oh, I don't know. And they knew them, and so I'm really proud of them. So Sharon can tell you a little bit about where they were at and what they scored. And yeah.
Okay, so we had two competitions. We had a virtual competition. We have a gentleman, Manana, who has a team, puts together some spelling things. They did a virtual one, and in that virtual one, we had three almost perfects, one perfect speller, and then three of them only missed them by a couple. So you had to miss one to get almost perfect, and then of course everything to get. And then went to Scottsburg for first competition. The last time I coached, it was during COVID. So this is my first actual site visit, and we got first place. So we were actually, when I was looking at who was all there, we were the youngest team. We only have 4th and 5th graders. So these kiddos went up against 6th graders.
Wow.
Yeah, and got first, and beat the teams by 3 points. So beat by 3 words. We had one perfect speller, one almost perfect during that. So they have worked very, very, very hard, and I'm very proud of them. So you keep looking at me. Fourth graders and we were the youngest team there, smallest team there, and no practice. But we were also the well behaved. We represented Orly very, very well.
We had several compliments. Our students were very well behaved and very well mannered and just very respectful.
They each got a piece of paper, and as the rounds were going, they were writing there, and they were checking. Yes. Yeah. So that to me just knew they were dedicated and really worked. Those words are not easy, were they? No. She can vouch for it because we literally had over 700 words they had to know by November. And we got the list in August.
Ooh.
So they have worked their tails off. They're tired of practicing them, but I'm very, very proud of them, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
I want to brag on Sharon as a coach. She made it fun as spelling can be. She made it fun, and they enjoyed it, and I really appreciate them. She did a good job.
Yeah, great. We're proud of you guys. The job that you did. Appreciate how well you represented our school. And are you going to do it again next year? That's the thought.
Good. You want to show me the shirt? We designed the shirt.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
They like the Scrabble pieces, and so we got a lot of compliments on that at the thing. But I like Scrabble. I thought that's spelling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought they did a good job. And Janice, thanks you for that. Thank you for that. So
It's very nice. A lot of times we focus on, sports and athletics, but this is just as important. And with some of our kiddos that maybe are not as athletic, this is their area to shine, and they do a great job.
they do.
And that's an important skill. But
Yes.
serve them well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get asked in the hallway a lot, so is Simon on I didn't do a classroom, when can we practice? And I'm like, give me a minute. So, but they were very, very dedicated. I'm very proud of them, so.
Good deal. Well, thank you for being here tonight, you know, and you're certainly welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but you're not gonna hurt her feelings if you want to sit down.
Mr. Ellis,
Well, thank you guys.
I just want to know
Thank you.
from the young lady,
Paisley.
what was the hardest word you had?
Remember? We had one, was Glockenspiel. Was
Oh,
one.
my.
That was one of our words.
Yeah.
What was it?
Glockenspiel. It's an
German?
instrument, German
Yeah.
instrument.
No wonder if I couldn't spell it.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
Google it.
they were impressed that I was doing it with them. They're like, "You know how to spell something?" I was like, "That was pretty good spelling." So,
Wow.
yeah, we had some hard ones.
Well, thank you for your hard work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. She didn't know what to say. She's representing always.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Guys. Thank you. Yes. You gonna do it again next year? All right.
We'll see you again next year
We'll
then.
see you guys.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Congratulations. Thank you, Ms. Burton. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, see you.
Thank you.
Any other public participation? This is starting everything.
Spell Glockenspiel.
Yeah.
I'm a science person. Science, math, good.
Yep, right for you. Go.
Accounts payable vouchers, payroll claims. It's recommended that the board approve accounts payable vouchers for November 18th through November 20th, 2025, from December 1st through December 16th, 2025. Also to approve payroll claims for November 21st and December 5th, 2025, to make payroll on December 19th, 2025, and January 2nd, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Barry, second by Jonathan. All in favor? 7-0. To approve contractual bus drivers' accounts payable for the above dates.
So moved.
Motion by Jonathan,
Second.
second by Heather. All in favor? 6-0-1. Financial reports. The recurring transfer from education fund to operations fund to reimburse operations fund for November 2025 expenses that are not allocated to student instruction and learning was made November 30th, 2025 in the amount of $75,000.
So I did make a transfer this month to operations. This will probably be the last transfer I make this year. I probably won't do one in December. This brings us up to about $996,000 that we transferred from ed to operations this year, which is a little less than last year, but it's pretty much comparable to the year before, I think, close to it. So I'm gonna leave it there. The only other thing, I've passed out the summary sheet and I've sent out an email, the detailed financials, if you want to look at those. And in those detailed financials, I had put a $300,000 rainy day transfer from operations to the rainy day fund. And I think I'm going to stick with, that's what we will do before December 31st this year. So that will bring our rainy day to about 2.1 million. So I don't have anything else unless you guys have questions.
Employment. It's recommended that the board approve the superintendent contract with Mr. Ellis through June 30th, 2028. Motion by Todd. Second by Barry. Okay. All in favor? 7-0. It's recommended that the board approve a one-year extension to the administrator contract for Mrs. Boyer as elementary principal through June 30th, 2028. Mr. Freed as elementary assistant principal through June 30th, 2028. Mr. Day as junior senior high school principal through June 30th, 2028. Mrs. Ralston as junior senior high school assistant principal through June 30th, 2028.
So moved.
Motion by Keith, second by Todd. Todd, all in favor? 7-0. School attorney contract. It's recommended that the board renew the contract with Tucker & Tucker PC as a school corporate attorney as presented for the calendar year 2026.
The hourly rate did go up $50 an hour, from 200 to 250. All three county superintendents did reach out to them and just say, you know, that's a pretty big increase for 1 year. That gets them more in line, still less than they charge everybody else for all their attorneys. It's a lower fee. So they do cut us a break, not as big as a break as they have been cutting us, but and they said they have no plans to raise it next year, but if they do, they would give us a little bit more notice than waiting until November to send us that, just so we'd be able to do for budgeting purposes and things. But we're happy with them. They do a good job. But that is a sizable increase for 1 year.
Did they tell us why?
Just to get more in line, they charge JC and Lynn are charging like $300, and then Hunt charges $275. So when they were charging $200, that was quite a bit less than we're charging everybody else. So
Do we use them a lot of hours?
it depends, you know. I mean, a year or two ago, yeah.
Okay.
This year, not so much, you know. So
Motion.
Motion by Heather, second by Barry, all in favor?
I'm abstained.
Okay, 6-0-1. Year-end transfers. It's recommended that the board give the corporate treasurer the authority to make transfers within funds to complete year-end financial transactions.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Jonathan, second by Heather, all in favor? 7-0. Authority to fill vacancies. It's recommended that the board grant Mr. Ellis the authority to fill in, any teaching or support staff vacancies which may occur for semester 2 of 2025-26.
But at this time, I've not been made aware that anybody's looking to leave or anything, but we just listen to that.
Motion by Barry, second by Christie, all in favor? 7-0. Date change. It's recommended that the board approve moving the date of January meeting to January 13th, 2026. Motion by Keith, second by Christie, all in favor? 7-0. Donation. It is recommended that the board accept the following donations. $26 from anonymous donor to Orleans Junior Senior High School to be used to purchase the National
Honor Society.
Honor Society sash for a former student.
That student graduated in the 60s who probably should have been on National Honor Society, but for some reason was left off. Her husband came to me and asked me, is there anything the school could do? So we looked at getting that done for that former student. So I thought it was a thing we could do for him.
So moved.
Motion by Jonathan, second by Barry, all in favor? 7-0. $7,500 from Riverview Farms to Orleans Junior Senior High School to the FFA. Motion by Todd, second by Heather, all in favor? 7-0. Quote, it is recommended that the board approve the quote from Tin Barge in the amount of $10,980 for the baseball field work at the Orleans Junior Senior High School to be paid from the First Mortgage Bond Series 2023.
This is for the grass transitions to dirt and that lip that's gotten so bad there. Try to take care of that to make it safer. It was on the quote last month. We approved for the baseball field, or the home plate, and a pretty good amount. But I really left that off, that portion of it off. Didn't see it, so we want to try to take care of that this month.
So moved.
Motion by Jonathan, second by Christie, all in favor? 7-0. It's recommended that the board approve the quote from Building Maps in the amount of $5,100 for preparation of safety and evacuation maps at the Orleans Elementary and Orleans Junior Senior High School to be paid from the First Mortgage Bond Series 2023.
Exactly is that? They come in, they come in, they take a tour of your building, find out where all your gas shutoffs are, your electric shutoff, all your fire extinguishers, everything, your evacuation routes. So they'll make maps, a master map for our school, but they'll also make a master map for each classroom, showing where the evacuations routes are and tornado shelters, all that stuff. And we had this done a couple of years ago, but since we added that stuff at the elementary school, we had the weight room. They also tell us what all of our cameras are, AEDs are. Of course, then we share those with local law enforcement as well and first responders. So they have those things too. So
So moved.
Motion by Jonathan, second by Christie. All in favor? 7-0. It is recommended that the board approve the quote from Corson in the amount of $3,929.61 for the access controls at the weight room at the Orleans Junior Senior High School to be paid from the First Mortgage Bond Series 2023. Motion by Barry, second by Keith. All in favor? 7-0. It's recommended that the board approve the quote from FJN for the purchase of 60 band uniforms for the Orleans Bulldog Regiment at the Orleans Junior Senior High School. $5,000 will be paid by the Orleans Bulldog Regiment band parent organization, and $31,714 will be paid by the school corporation.
Do we see those? Do we ever see those, what they were looking for?
We had a
I
picture
send
last.
them a weekly update.
I must have skipped right over it.
Yeah, it's fine. I can show you a picture of them after the meeting. I don't know what your thoughts are. They looked, I thought they looked very school color and, you know, and everything. So.
Motion by Todd,
Second.
second by Keith, all in favor? 7-0. School calendar, it's recommended that the board approve the 2026-27 school calendar as presented.
Recommending draft 3. That was the draft. I sit in the board packet. Got a copy of it here in the folder. If you've had questions on it, it's a little bit, we put a couple of things back into it that we had taken out. But it starts school on the 3rd and the 4th for teacher work days. Students will start on August 5th. We do have no school the day before, the Friday before, the week before fall break. We put that back in. And then we put a few, because of the way the calendar falls, we put a few more built-in makeup days into the spring. So hopefully we can have a few more makeup days because Memorial Day is pushed back a little bit in 2027. So, but that's the draft I'm recommending is 3.
Motion by Christie, second by Barry, all in favor? 7-0. Superintendent's report.
Weight room access. I'm planning to send out something to teachers this week and letting them know that we're going to add weight room access to their key cards and kind of let them know what the expectations are for using the weight room after hours. And so they'll have access to that either before or after school if they want to take advantage of it. The only thing we're kind of saying is, obviously we take care of it. Those are just kind of common sense things, but it's for them and their immediate family, and that they have to be with them when their immediate family's there. They can't just give their key card up to their you know, their husband or their child or their wife and say, you can go up there. We expect them to be there with them when it's being used. And it is, like I said, it's immediate family only. So I'll let them know about that this week and they can start using that. Go from there. And then the old weight room equipment for the old, from our old weight room, would like to have that auctioned off. Robinson Auctions let Mr. Willer know that they would be willing to auction it off for us. So no objections there. We'll let them auction that off. Whatever money we get, you know, we'll just put that into operations. We'll use that for other items. Hopefully we'll get a lot of money for those, but I doubt it. So, but at least we'll hopefully get them out of our warehouse anyway. We had a CDL employer meeting today with industry partners over at Spring Mill. Very well attended. We had representatives there from a number of different businesses. We just talked a little bit about, we told them kind of what we were thinking about what program might look like. They want to get a feedback from them, particularly whether the data we see tells us that there's a need, but we want to make sure that our local employers saw as a need as well. They definitely saw as a need. One of the things they emphasized was, I don't think there's a huge, necessarily just a huge need for semi drivers over the road, but there's a definitely, along with that, a big need for people who have CDL that can drive dump trucks, that can drive REMC type trucks, electric home trucks. So maybe not that, was it the Class A main one, but there definitely a lot of our employers need people that can do other things. But we definitely want to get them licensed to drive semi over the road when they're of age. But so definitely there is definitely a need there, and then they definitely are interested in partnering with us. And they had some good advice for how we could do some things. They're willing to. Several of them said, "Hey, we're willing to, just be a thought partner. We're willing to host interns because we have to have some intern hours and some that work aspect of it as well. They're willing to do that. They're willing to maybe say you can borrow a truck or use a truck to help, as long as we can figure the insurance part of it out too, if what we have doesn't work." So there was definitely interest there, and so we definitely want to take the next steps. Obviously, the thing that as a board and as a school corporation, all three school corporations have to decide, do we want to invest the funds in that too? What's the next steps would be, we have to really sit down and look at what's this going to cost. How much is our insurance going to go up when we start this program? How much are we going to have to pay an instructor? Of course, we divide those costs three ways in the different cosmos, but we need to, to make an informed decision, we need to know what the bottom line is going to be. So that's where our next steps are going to be, and then we can bring all the information to you guys, and you guys can say, hey, is this worth it? Is this something we want to spend our money on? The only thing we have to really be aware of is the most number of students we can put in a year is 16. That's not 16 for Orleans. That's 16 total for the three corporations. Now, that's still 16 kids. If we get 16 kids, that's 16 kids that will, for us, it's going to be 5 or 6 a year, most likely. We're going to take a in-need certification and hopefully take that to an employer and get a job. And so it's definitely a great thing. But when you think about only 5 or 6 of our kids, we're spending this amount of money on it, is that equity? So I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but I just like we need to be aware of that too, be thinking about that. But we'll bring that final dollar amount into you, what we think it's going to cost us. We'll have to put up what the instructor costs, and that way we can make that decision. And we like to get that done fairly quickly, because if we decide to start that for the next school year, then we need to get going on that. So we're going to start working on that and have that next piece for you fairly soon. But it was a good meeting. I think there definitely would have some support from the community, from the different industry partners we had there today, and others that couldn't make it as well. You may have questions about that or anything?
Would it be pretty similar to what Lost River's doing?
That's kind of what we kind of modeled over. It's very similar to what Lost River has done. Obviously, it might be something where some of the Class C work might be virtual, with Shoals being where they're at, so that may be a little different. And then one of the employers mentioned too, could we embed other certifications into this? Can we do like an OSHA? Can we embed OSHA into it? And if that's something we can do and not take away from the CDL part of it, I definitely want to explore that. Yeah. It just makes it more marketable when they go out to work.
I think if we can, we can or not. It definitely needs to have more seat time than what Lost River does.
Okay. That's good to know too. Yeah. If we can figure out a way to make that work, obviously there's some restriction because of age, I think. But yeah, I think that's good to know too. If we can get
Right now, seat time for a guy, it's mainly classroom. The seat time's only 10 hours.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's 2 weeks, basically 2 hours.
And that's probably instructor availability. And so, that may be
Right, and I think that is, yeah.
And so, but yeah, definitely, I think if we can work that in, we definitely want to. And we may have more flexibility, having somebody, just work with our 3 schools,
Correct.
and stuff too. So yeah, that's good to know.
About how many employers were at the meeting?
We had about 15 or 16 people there. Now, one of them was a gentleman who was an experienced trainer, and then one was from Workforce One.
Okay.
And then, of course, we had our administrative team. So we probably had 10 employers there.
Okay.
11 employers. Yeah.
Do we know how much it costs for Lost River to offer that program and how many students they?
We don't know exactly how much it costs for them to do it. We know what they charge us. They charge us $3,800 per student.
It was 13,200 this year for
Yeah.
the 4.
For 4 students. So yeah, and you think about that, we're already paying $13,000. That's going to go a long way to paying our serve. But no, I don't know exactly what they charge or what it costs them to run that program. That's them. Now they're obviously they don't want us to. I think they would like to keep us as part of that.
Yeah.
And if they could guarantee us 5 seats a year, I think we would stay part of that. It's easier for us. But they obviously have their schools they have to take care of
Right.
first, and we get whatever's open after the fact. And
Yeah.
if we had open seats, we would contact North Orange Career Center or somebody and say, hey, we have some open seats. Do you want to send some kids down? We do the same thing.
Mhm.
You know, we would help offset the cost and make it available to everybody. In those years, we don't have enough, but
Would there be an approved way that if industry saw the value, that they could subsidize the program if we felt like the cost was too much per student?
yeah, I mean, we wouldn't turn, money away. We didn't bring it up today. I always am fearful when we talk about asking for money. That's usually when the bottom falls out sometimes. But yes, I think there would be a way we could solicit, whether it's donations or whether Dr. Landon from Shoals mentioned about maybe the scholarships. If a student was willing to say, hey, I'm going to commit to work for this company, they might do a scholarship to help offset the cost. So yeah, I think there's definitely a path forward if they're willing to do that, if they see value in it, because they're already spending money. They talk about how much they're spending on training their drivers. So if they have to spend less money to train drivers, they might, how much that would be, I don't know, but we're going to go. I think our approach is going to be as if we're footing the bill for it. And if we get anything else, that would just help out.
Todd, is there any value in kids that are trying to accomplish this to be able to drive a loaded truck rather than an empty van box?
Well, I mean, it'd be really nice, but then you're getting up to
Like,
aspect of insurance coverage and all that, for cargo and all that.
well, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
There's a difference,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Then the last two more things. One was our enrollment. Currently, our elementary school is at 482, and that does not include 17 preschoolers. So if you add the preschoolers, we're at 499. The high school, junior senior high school, is 364 for a total of 846. Of that 846, 206 are transfers, which is 24.35%. So we're down a little bit from where we were in October, but we've been maintaining that 846 number for the last month or two. So, and I have one more thing. I meant to do this during public participation, and I forgot. We want to thank Courtney for serving as our board president for 2025. She did a great job, and it's tradition for her to present our board president with the gavel. So we want to do that. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Now you should have given you that
At the
in
beginning.
January, so you could get some people and take care of it. So, all right, and that's all I've got. But I do have Mrs. Lawyer's principal report. I'll go ahead and read that. We are installing new furniture for the 4th through 6th grade classrooms and three of our resource classrooms over Christmas break. So the custodians and I will go down and move all the furniture out Monday of next week, and then the following week, on the 29th and 30th, the company's going to be coming here and installing the new furniture. So 4th through 6th grade classrooms will have brand new furniture after Christmas break, along with three of our special education rooms. The 5th and 6th grade boys have started their season. We got that going on. And the 5th and 6th grade girls have their last game tonight at West Washington. So they're wrapping that season up. So, and then Mrs. Goller, our elementary music teacher, is welcoming their newest member of their family, Jericho, this week. So she just had her baby. So I want to congratulate Mrs. Goller. That's a former Claire Hester. And I want to congratulate her. Happy to report that they're doing well. So that's great. We've got a few more people that are going to be taking maternity leaves as well. So must be something in the water at the schools here. So that's exciting. We're glad to see that. So, and that's all she had in her Christmas report. So turn it over to Sinead. Thank you. Yep. It's got a staple.
Now, don't let him see yours. Did you have an here? I think, can I see that one? Oh, yeah.
That's right.
There's your color.
Oh, there's your color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the first thing I want to say is thank you for the extension. But the second thing that I want to say is from my family to your families, and that's every single one of you in this room. Merry Christmas. And I hope that it's a wonderful season for you. I really do. Such a glorious time of year. All right. I'm just going to follow mine here. And here we go. I gave you a picture right there. I thought you might find kind of interesting. Bulldog Manufacturing made these frames. You know, we kind of talked about this a little bit, and we're going to exhibit some of the FFA banners. So I thought that was cool. I don't know where we're going to put them yet, but that will be the next decision. I'd like to put them in a place where they get a lot of, you know, people see them, right? Thanks, shout out to Riverview Farms. When Izzy told me about that, I mean, wow, that was quite a donation. And that was several $1,000s. I mean, that's really something that I think we should shout out for sure. Kind of along the lines of celebrating students, the Business Professionals of America, the way I understand it, they recently went to a competition and every single kid that went earned something. And I thought that was pretty darn noteworthy. I want to give some appreciation to Mrs. Jones and Mrs. Hosey. Today we had the junior high kids in the gym, and we handed out what we call Top Dog Awards. And it's kind of cool because it doesn't necessarily go to the, you know, always go to the most academic. It goes to kids who are recognized for a variety of reasons. You know, I granted, there's probably some kids who get a little embarrassed, but I think most people inherently like to be recognized. You know, I think it's a source of pride. And I think they deserve kudos for that. Number 7, I want to give kudos to Terry Burton. I tell you what, I think Terry Burton gets a lot out of his kids, and I don't know if the rest of you would agree, but the atmosphere at the games is great. And, you know, I remember the atmosphere at the state finals last year, you know, and then trust me, those two bands were competing too, right? And I thought our band laid the other one in the shade. But I think they do a great job. I have included a document here you might want to look at, you might not, that's up to you. It is still in draft form, but it comes from the IDOE in the state of Indiana, and it is dealing with school accountability. Now, the reason why I wanted you to see it is very plain. You know, I've been in this game for a long time, and a lot of the items that have always been there are still going to be there. You know, you're still going to have iLearn scores, you're still going to have attendance. You see things, if you look at the bottom, you see things like, you know, how are we doing on the SAT math, or how are we doing on the SAT English? Okay, now there's a broader reason why I'm sharing this with you. And that is because our SIP, our school improvement plan this year, is tackling some of the very items that you see on this sheet. And are we where we need to be? No, not yet, but we're getting there. And I just want you to know that, you know, I'm proud of the way that we're tackling this, right? And people hear me say this, I'd rather be a little bit ahead of the curve as to be behind. And I feel like some of this stuff that the state is pushing towards us, we're a little bit ahead of the game. And I'm proud of my staff for working on that. And I think we're doing good. And like I say, we've got work, but we're getting there. And then the last thing that I put on here, I want to say thank you to Elizabeth Doherty. I want to say thank you to Jimmy. But what I'm about to say, this is purely Tim Day. So here it goes. I think we decided at some point that we were going to put machines in the hands of kids, right? We decided we were going to go one-to-one. I think we could probably think of a lot of good things that accomplishes, but we're also putting a lot of power in the hands of an adolescent. It can be used for good. It can be used for bad. Okay. And I'm not about like trying to continually punish kids, but I tell you what I am about. I think we need to give them a little bit better mentorship. And I think we need to monitor what they do just a little bit better. And I think we do a good job, but I appreciate Jimmy. I appreciate Elizabeth helping me look at products that might give us a little bit more monitoring ability for what we have. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. This is me just being honest with you. I think if a kid has Googled suicide 10 times, we should know it. Right? I think if we are spending a disproportionate amount of time playing games versus using it for educational purposes, we should know that. And I think there are some tools out there that ultimately we might have to spend a little money on, but I think they could help us maybe monitor a little bit better and maybe be a little bit more proactive. I'm not afraid of AI. I think AI could do wonderful things for us, but I think AI can do some pretty terrible things too. And I want us to look out for the really good kids that we have. And I don't want some of these kids to end up being the subject of generated items if we can protect it, or if we can head it off at the pass, as the old cowboys used to say. Okay, so I'm just very appreciative that Jimmy and Elizabeth are willing to help me look at that, because I want to do everything within our power to protect our kids. I mean, I think it's okay that we're 1-to-1. I'm not sure, honestly, if you want to know the truth, I might take us back to some paper and pencil. But, you know, the kids need to be able to use technology as well for a variety of reasons. But I think we are entering into a little bit of an unprecedented time in all of our lives, especially in my life, right? I just turned 56, and, you know, in my life, we're doing some things now that I never dreamt that we would be able to do. And not only that, some of the things that we're able to do, I don't want them to take place in our schools if we can keep from it. So, all right, thanks.
We're good. Thank you. Thank you.
Late items. HD Graphics. It's recommended that the board approve payment of $2,395 to HD Graphics for window decals in the conference room at the Orleans Elementary School to be paid from the first mortgage bond series 2023.
Is that like
Motion-
tinting or what is that?
That is, like, on one side, you've been in the front door,
Yeah,
it's like that.
okay,
Front of the high school. Now, one side, the side that's in the hallway, you can't see through it all.
okay.
That was kind of a concern. But the other side with the door is the same thing as the front door
Okay.
of the high school.
I'll second that. Motion by Keith, second by Heather, all in favor? 7-0. Okay. Quote, it's recommended that the board approve the quote from Seifert Construction in the amount of $14,246 for a wall-mounted canopy over the main entrance at the Orleans Junior Senior High School.
So moved.
Motion by Jonathan, second by Barry, all in favor? 7-0. Conference request. It's recommended that the board approve the overnight conference request as presented.
This is for Mr. Freedom, Mrs. Ralston to attend the safety conference in January in Indianapolis. It's on behavioral threat assessments. What they'll be learning about.
Motion by Keith, second by Christie, all in favor? 7-0. Amendment. It's recommended that the board amend the item dated 2024-25-114, quote from Orange County Fiber to provide internet wiring and access points in the addition of the Orleans Elementary School in the amount of $5,245 to be paid from the first mortgage bond series 2023. Motion by Christie, second by Barry, all in favor? 7-0. REMC payment. It's recommended that the board approve the payment of $3,690 to the Orange County REMC for internet cable work at the Orleans Junior High School to be paid from the mortgage bond series 2023.
So moved.
Motion by Jonathan, second by Christie, all in favor? 7-0. Computer and monitor purchase. It's recommended that the board approve the purchase of 25 computers and monitors from Amazon to be used for teachers at the Orleans Elementary and the Orleans Junior Senior High School in the amount of $16,674.75 to be paid from the first mortgage bond series 2023. Motion by Todd, second by Heather, all in favor? 7-0. It's recommended that the meeting be adjourned at 6:09.
So moved.
Motion by Jonathan, second by Barry, all in favor? 7-0.